What to talk about? What to talk about? How about Hey Pikmin isn't that bad? Nah. Super Mario Kart is the best one? Definitely not. I'm completely out of ideas. What am I going to do now? Wait, is that Super Mario Sunshine from Super Mario 3D All-Stars gameplay? Hey, it is! I'm going to have to thank myself for putting that in later. But what to do with this convenient inspiration? Wait a minute. Sunshine's the bad one, right? Yeah, I could talk about that. No, better yet, I could explain how Sunshine's flaws got there and why they make it bad. It's genius! Oh, and, by the way, how's it going, everybody? I'm Burrhead2, and you better strap in, because we're gonna talk about Super Mario Sunshine's many, many issues. So in the famous words of Mario, here we go. The way I see it, there are 2 points I can make which would seem to explain most, if not all, of Sunshine's issues. So obviously, we're gonna start with the first point. I'm pretty sure the game was rushed. Just look at the blue coins. While I do think that on paper and in practice, to an extent, they aren't that bad, and I also kinda think they're just at the wrong place at the wrong time, they do feel like padding just to get to 120 shine sprites. And yeah, they are kind of annoying too. And the shine sprites are pretty useless. I mean, they only serve to unlock the next episode in a level, rinse and repeat until you beat Shadow Mario, then move on to the next level. Outside of that, shine sprites don't serve any purpose. Although I guess that's more of a design issue than it being a byproduct of the game being rushed. But maybe not. Who knows? Plus, people seem to point out that several episodes have repeated objectives. Although I will take Sunshine's side here, because Sunshine's levels have 2 more objectives than Mario 64 had. Although this is Nintendo, they probably could have come up with something. Okay, maybe there were cut corners. By the way, did you know that Bianco Hills Episode 1 was a bit different? I've seen some footage from an earlier version of the game, and upon the player defeating the polluted piranha, or is it called a gatekeeper, the ramp appeared as normal, although a shine sprite didn't spawn. It seems that you were supposed to continue on the path and fight PD Piranha instead of that being episode 2, but the game does allow you to fight PD Piranha in episode 1 anyway, which is weird. There's even a Pianta up there that tells you you're forgetting something, so it seemed to be a conscious decision by the dev team. Yeah, it's still pretty weird. And speaking of weird, did you also know that Bianco Hills Episode 2 is one of 2 shines in the entire game that can be collected out of order? The other one is Gelato Beach Episode 8, although you're not supposed to, so it probably doesn't count. But enough about that, what about Delfino Plaza? Does there really need to be anything there? Well, not really, although I'm okay with the blue coins. But it's the shine sprites I have a problem with. They are, like I mentioned earlier, completely useless. But the shine sprites in Delfino Plaza don't even unlock more shines anyway, so they're even more useless. Now I'd list off all the shines that I think don't need to be there, but that's pretty much all of them anyway. So why bother? Wait, I haven't even mentioned how jank the game is yet. Kinda surprised it took me this long. Yeah, Sunshine is pretty jank. The game is just chock full of mistakes, glitches, and oddities. There's a misplaced tree in Bianco Hills, a random invisible object that you can stand on in Rico Harbor, and the many weird textures in Delfino Plaza and its variations. Not to mention the whole thing with the Ferris wheel in Pina Park. Yeah, every game has these sort of things, but Sunshine just seems to have a lot of obvious and simple ones. Remember towards the beginning of the video where I talked about some points I could make? Well, I believe it's time to talk about point number 2. The game has 2 identities, and they don't mesh rather well. And by this, I mean the game's story doesn't really fit the game. It's kinda weird, isn't it? The only Mario game with an actual story has the story as a contributing factor to its downfall. Was Miyamoto right this whole time? Well, no. Allow me to explain myself. If you take a look at pretty much any part of Sunshine, you'll see that it's just more Mario. Not that that's a bad thing. Everything is bright and colorful, the music is happy, and everyone has a round, chubby design. It's your generic Happy Mario. Now take a look at a cutscene. It's pretty much the exact opposite. It's dark, gloomy, almost gritty, and it takes itself very seriously. I mean, come on bro, just look at the cinematography. Shadow Mario certainly doesn't help either. His red eyes and dark blue coloration, and the fact he's either looming off in the distance or staring straight at you, seem to try and make him the personification of pure evil. He's almost like some sort of omnipotent being. But what about Bowser Jr.? He's surprisingly not very intimidating, although him trying to get Mario sent to prison is surprisingly dark. I think there is no better example of this than Peanut Park Episode 1. 1 minute, everything's bright and happy, it just screams, "Let's-a go, I'm gonna go save the princess!" Then boom, you're thrust into a cutscene where the supervillain's probably going to reveal his plans for world domination. Well, this one doesn't, but the one after this does. Do I get points for being close? Nevertheless, the juxtaposition of bubbly and bouncy and dark and gritty doesn't really work. Sunshine's not a bad game, it's just definitely not the best. However, the ideal form of Super Mario Sunshine does exist, and it's in the form of Sunshine's successful successor, Super Mario Galaxy. If you think about it, Galaxy is everything Sunshine wanted to be. It's got a lot of fancy camera angles, a serious story, and it actually manages to keep a dark, literally and figuratively, theme throughout. And of course, the epic orchestral soundtrack. But then there's Galaxy 2. We don't talk about that. So, thanks for watching. I hope I shed some light on an issue that didn't exist until I talked about it. And I also hope you have a very comfortable next few minutes of your life. Because with me involved, that might be all you have.